Hello, students. I hope you are all doing extremely well. Here I am, your English teacher, Teacher Nirmala, with an enchanting story from your textbook. Listen to the story and the explanation very carefully. Gopal and the Hilsa Fish. It was the season for Hilsa Fish. Fishermen could think of nothing but Hilsa Fish. Fishmongers sold nothing but Hilsa Fish. Fishmongers are those who sell fish. Come buy. The price of Hilsa is down today. Hilsa is a type of fish, and the fishmongers are asking the people to come and buy the Hilsa fish because the price of the fish is less. Householders could talk of nothing but Hilsa fish. Householders are those who take care of the homes, like your mother or maybe even your father. How much did you pay for that, Hilsa? And in the palace too, the courtiers could discuss nothing but Hilsa fish. Courtiers are those who work in the king's palace. Your Majesty, you should have seen the huge Hilsa I caught. It was when the courtier was telling the king about the huge Hilsa fish that he had caught. The king got very angry and said, "Stop it! Are you a courtier or a fisherman?" The courtier felt silent with downcast eyes. Downcast means a very shameful state. The king felt guilty. To feel guilty means to feel bad. Then the king said to the courtier, "I'm sorry, I lost my temper. It is the season for Hilsa fish, and no one, not even Gopal, can stop anyone from talking about Hilsa fish, not even for 5 minutes. To lose temper means to get very angry." When the king said this, Gopal replied, "Oh, I think I could, Your Majesty." So the king told Gopal, "Then let me see you buy a huge Hilsa and bring it to the palace without anyone asking you a word about it." Now this was a challenge to Gopal, which the king had offered him. At this point, Gopal says, "I accept the challenge, Your Majesty." Challenge means to prove. Gopal's wife asked Gopal, "Why is your face half shaved?" Half shaved means he had shaved his face only on one side, and the other side it had a beard. Gopal said, "I'm dressing up to buy a fish." Once again his wife said, "What's the matter with you? Why are you smearing yourself with ash?" Smearing means why are you putting ash on yourself? He replied, "I told you I am dressed up to buy a Hilsa fish." His wife said to him, "Listen to me, please. You can't possibly go out in those disgraceful rags. What are you up to?" Disgraceful means shameful. Rags means torn clothes. "How many times must I tell you, woman? I am out to buy a huge Hilsa fish." Huge means a big Hilsa fish. His wife thinks, "It's happened to him. He's gone mad." Gopal bought the Hilsa fish and started walking towards the palace. On the way, a child remarked to her mother, "Mother, look at that man. Isn't he comical?" Comical means funny. Other people who were looking at him said, "He must be a madman." The others said, "Hush, I think he must be a mystic." When Gopal reached the court, the guards at the entrance asked him, "What do you want?" Gopal replied, "I want to see the king." The king's soldier replied, "You can't see the king. Get away with you." Get away with you means go away from here. When the soldiers did not allow Gopal to enter the king's court, Gopal began to dance and sing loudly. Inside the king's palace, the king says, "The man is crazy." Crazy means he's mad. "Throw him out at once." But Gopal says, "I want to see the king. Let me in." Let me in means allow me to go inside. Then the king said, "Bring the man to me at once." The soldier replied, "Yes, your majesty." Gopal was brought before the king. When he came before the king recognized him. The other courtiers also recognized him and said, "It's Gopal." Some of them said, "The man has lost his mind." Someone else said, "I think it's one of his crazy jokes." The king said, "All right, Gopal, out with it. Why are you dressed up in such a ridiculous fashion?" Ridiculous means an abnormal fashion or a different kind of a fashion. "Your Majesty, you seem to have forgotten something," said Gopal. The king replied, "Forgotten something?" Gopal said, "Strangely enough, no one seems to be interested in Hilsa fish today. From the market to the palace and in the court, not a soul has spoken about Hilsa fish." Not a soul means not a single person has spoken about Hilsa fish, says Gopal. It was only now that the king remembered the challenge that he had thrown to Gopal. The king replied, "Ha ha! Well, Gopal, congratulations! You have achieved the impossible once again." So, my dear students, you have seen how Gopal makes use of his intelligence and diverts the people from talking about Hilsa fish to the way he was dressed up. I'm sure all of you have understood the lesson. Thank you for listening.